no money, that's an asshole. It wasn't a phase.
Welcome back to the Senior Citizen Podcast. Today we have Take Two with an amazing artist who has been so patient and so kind, Karla Sro. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
I'm so excited you came back. Technical difficulties are a bitch, but you really see the love in this local scene and artists and their drive to want to do these interviews. So I am eternally grateful because it is your time, it is your gas, and I'm excited about what you're doing, about what you're constructing. But I do want to start from the beginning of your musical journey. Tell me about yourself. What got you into music?
Okay. Well, I think it started in music when I was very little. I used to sing in my school chorus, and I never got to be a lead. Actually, I was always like the backgrounds, like and well, I like doing it, but I was doing it since I was 6 until I was 13. After that, I quit because I was kind of done. And then it got me until I was in my last year of high school that I started actually like doing music because I always wanted to do music. Music has always been my thing. I remember I have a video of me when I was very little when I told my mom like, oh yeah, when I'm older, I want to be a singer. And I always told everyone that I was older, I wanted to be a singer. But when I was in high school, I was like, okay, but when that time will come, when I will be older, or should I do it now, or how do I start doing it? Because now it's very common that you see people doing music in their house, but in 2019 it wasn't. Even though it wasn't so much ago, it wasn't common. I knew no one who did music. No one. And I actually had to talk to someone that wasn't really my friend, but I knew he did like music as a hobby. I was like, how do you record music? How is this? And there was actually videos on YouTube, but it was for people who actually knew something. So I was like, oh, what is an interface? What is that? Where do I get one? And yeah, I started looking for people, and I did my first song by myself. It's very bad. It's like a bunch of samples all together. I didn't know what a key was.
Right.
So they were all in different keys, all in different BPMs. And when you listen to that song, you can tell. You can tell it's like I put a lot of samples in a blender and I just put them together.
Added some salt and
yeah, yeah. But it's a process. It was a process. And after that, I kept doing music. I was like, okay, I just started. I want to keep doing it. And the first day that I had my song in Spotify, it was so good. I remember I saw it and I was crying. Because I was like, I'm in Spotify. What is this? Like, and I Googled myself like a lot of times. It was like Karla Sro, artist. And I went,
yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool.
No, it's so exciting, and I love you've been following that dream since you were a kid, because a lot of people do give up on it along the way because it won't make money or it isn't easy, and it is a long journey, a long battle to get somewhere with music.
Yeah, it's so true.
And I don't record music, but you do see the differences of how people have been able to build so many like home studios, even on the journalism side. Like I remember one of my friends had a podcast with somebody with like a daily news show. And I was like, where are you recording this? She's like, oh, it's in my house. Like she made a sign. She had a blank wall. She had the lighting. She had the nice cameras, and she would do the live stream. It was a live podcast. And I was like, that's insane.
Yeah, because now you can get that, like the backgrounds, even mics at Five Below.
Yeah. Anybody can start. Like,
yeah, it's so cool because before it wasn't so popular. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, it hasn't been like a lot of time between 2019 and now. But I think in 2020, it got like, wow, everyone's doing music. And you can really see, I have seen like from people that I was friends with that we actually have songs together that now they're giving up and they're stopped doing music. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So you can really see like the people who really wanted it. Because it's not like, okay, I get that life happens. Life happens to me as well. But I don't imagine myself doing something else than music. Even if it's a singer, a producer, whatever, I imagine myself in music. If it, I don't see myself in something else.
Yeah. Even if it's working sound at a show, you're doing.
Yeah, because I also like that. You know, I'm studying production. I love engineering. I love producing, and it's really sad when I see people like friends like just saying like, "Oh yeah, guys, I've stopped doing music. You will not see something else from me." Like, what? Like, bro, you had so much. You had so much
potential,
yeah, and it's about having. I think you have to be really persistent. Before going into music, I was in criminal justice. I think we talked about that the other day, and I was in criminal justice, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I will get out of criminal justice, I will graduate, I will go to law school, but I will not do my life in music. I don't see myself, I mean, I will not do my life as a lawyer. I never saw myself in an office.
Yeah, in an office, in a courtroom.
Yeah.
In heels.
You know what? I really like criminal stuff.
Yeah.
I like it. It's amazing. I love a creator that's called Paulette. Mm-hmm. I watch her all the time. I'm having lunch, I'm watching her. And I love seeing like criminal stuff when I'm having lunch, but it's already done, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have to do it.
You don't have to fight the case.
Yeah. So it's different when you're in class, and it was really hard for me because I remember in my class, I know this will sound like kind of bad, but I was the only immigrant in my class, in my criminal justice class. And I remember the first day, the professor was like, "Okay, guys, please raise your hand. Who wants to be a cop?" And I was, what I'm doing? Yeah, I don't want to be this. No. And actually, after that, I went to my counselor. I was like, "Why did you put me in this class? I don't want to be that way." She was like, "Oh no, but you need to do all of this, and after that, you need to go to law school, and then you become a lawyer." And I'm like,
that's the number one complaint from immigrants, by the way, because in our Latin countries, you literally, like, you're going to be a lawyer. You just go straight to school to be a lawyer. You don't go through hoops and, okay, my bachelor's is in this, and then I go to law school, and then I take all these exams. And no, it's a straightforward process. You just go and do what you want to do.
It's so different from Latin America, because when I tell my uncles from Chile that, "Oh yeah, I'm in music technology, I will be a sound engineer, I'm doing an associate of science," and she's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "There's nothing like that in Chile, because in Chile you just graduate or have a technical degree or a certificate. It's that, and of course a master's and doctorates, but it's not like, oh yeah, but no, I'm not a technician. I don't have a certificate. It's a associate of science," and they don't understand because it's not the same. And also, if I went through all of that in criminal justice, something I kind of like it, but I figured out it wasn't my thing, and I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I can make money with this, but actually, will I do money if I don't like this? I will not.
You don't want to work.
I will not work in it. So I will just waste money. It's just a waste of money. And thank God I just went through one semester and then I went straight to music technology. And I think that was one of the best decisions I ever made. Like, yeah, really.
I think that's, that's why when I'm one of the huge advocates for kids in high school do not need to be picking what they want to do for the rest of their lives. In this stage of my life, I see a lot of people that I went to school with going back to do another degree, or they didn't even finish their first degree, because you realize it a semester in, but there's people that realize it almost when they're almost done with the degree,
already done,
and then they're gonna go into credit surcharge, where you get charged double for credits, which is, you can't afford that. So there's a lot of things that go into picking a career, and if somebody needs to take a year or two off to figure out what they're doing with their life and decide, I want to do a technical course, I don't want to go to a 4-year university. Like, there's so many options, and you're not you're not forced to go into these set ones.
Yeah.
It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. It hurts your character, it hurts your mental health. And I'm happy that I knew what I wanted to do, but not everybody's like that. And I think it's something that you really just have to take your time to figure out.
Yeah. And also I think it took a year because after I graduated from high school, I came to the United States. And I came in the middle of the year. There wasn't any registrations open, so I had to take a year. And even with that, I chose criminal justice because I was convinced. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I like this. My dad is a lawyer, so I was very influenced by that. I don't think I chose that because of my dad, but I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. Yeah,
It's a lot of work.
yeah. And I was like, yeah, this is cool, but I never got to really study it. Also, in high school, I studied a lot of stuff for criminal justice, but in Chile.
Yeah.
So I came here and I didn't know what an amendment was. What is an amendment? What's the first article of the Constitution? I know everything about Chile. Like, you could ask me who was the president in the 1940s, and I know who was I knew everything. But in here, I was like, damn, like, I didn't think about that. This is a whole different country.
It's a whole different country, a whole different system, and things change so often. Like, it's a lot of nuances. So I'm glad you were able to step away from criminal justice, from thinking about being a lawyer, and then jumping into this music career.
Yeah.
You had mentioned your first song and how emotional you got when it was finally out, and how exciting it is to see yourself exist in Spotify as an artist. And listening to your discography, you see that evolution. I see you falling more into who you want to be. You do have some reggaeton tracks out that they're not bad. Like, well, I'm not gonna say they're bad, but they're soulless.
Yeah, you don't need to say that. They're bad. That's it.
No, it's definitely. I mean, I've heard worse from people who are taking reggaeton seriously, and
There's worse. There's always worse.
there's always worse, and there is such a thing as bad music in the world.
Yeah.
As much as we want to defend it.
I mean, yeah, they're, as you say, they're very soulless because okay, there was a time that I started going out a lot in Miami because I wanted to fit in. I was like, okay, I'm living in Miami. What are the people in Miami doing? So there I figure out like, okay, but no one's listening to rock. Okay, I'll do reggaeton. I'll dress like all the girls dress, and I got rid of the pink.
Okay.
So I was serious.
Yeah.
But I got so, honestly, I got depressed because like, I'm not me.
Mm-hmm.
This is not me. And I was going through a stage in my life when I really needed to be like in peace because I was kind of like, overall, I think that made me sadder. That made me more depressed because I wasn't being who I was. And I was showing people something that I'm not. Even I have a reggaeton song where I'm wearing like all slick nut stuff. And so I was like, yeah, I'm trying, but I can't, it's me. And after that, I went straight up to like doing more of my stuff. My last song that I have released, it's actually pop, but the video is very goth. It's like very like Evanescence kind of style. And after that was my point where I was like, yeah, I need to be who I am.
Yeah.
I want to be who I am. And even like that song, I think it's really me. It's just another phase of me. I wouldn't say that's soulless, but I will say that the reggaeton, it is soulless.
It's just soulless. There's no, because you talk to, I was just watching the other day, I had an interview with Lenny Tavares, who's an incredible reggaeton artist, and you hear him talking about what he did in this last album, and he got a mix of some EDM, but still with the beats of reggaeton.
It's him.
Yeah, it's him, and he's excited about it, and the lyrics and everything, like, it ties together in a beautiful way, and you can appreciate his art, and that's him, and that's what he does, and that's what he's happy with. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of your journey has just been finding your sound.
Yeah.
The Miami Brainwash is incredible because I went through it myself. I don't know how many years I went without listening to all those bands that I loved as a teenager because I went to school in Miami, and it just happens. But yes, it was soulless reggaeton, and now we're moving in. I know this pop song you're talking about. There was a song that you mentioned last time that you had with your ex, and I was like, that is so forward thinking. Like, it was so, I never sent you the Millionaires, but it was so Millionaires coded, like, Scene Queens. Oh my gosh, it was, you'll get inspired, and you'll fall back into it, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, that song is fun because it's called Fuck With My Ex, and that guy is actually my ex. I think my part is fine. I don't think I love the song as a whole thing, but it's something. Like, I wouldn't delete it.
Right, no, and there's an audience for that, and I think and Broken Side is going back on tour now, so, like, there's something there.
Yeah, we never know.
But I'm excited for your future, for this new song that you're releasing soon called Inside. I've heard snippets of it. You're so excited about it. You're about to jump out of the seat. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that song, how it was creating it, and what made you finally pull the plug and say, this is my sound?
Wow. Okay. So I was working with Forza. Met Forza, he's a producer, and I met him actually in a networking event. And he told me he was an EDM, he was into EDM, he was into pop, he was into everything. And we actually never talked about doing a song. One day he was like, oh, you know what? I'm doing like this kind of short interviews with people that do music, and we can make like a scratch song to see what comes out. And we started working on this. And when I went to his studio, I saw like a bunch of Linkin Park posters, and I'm like, this is a green flag. Yeah, we can do something like this. I know there's potential. So I really wanted my next project, my next EP. It's mainly rock. I have one song that's mainly like with a lot of metal influence, but still rock. And I was like, I can work with something of what I'm doing with him, because he has a lot of EDM influence, a lot of pop influence, a lot of even rap. And with my sound, that's more rock. I think we got to a middle point, and we like kind of blended this both stuff together. And it's so cool because now modern metal, it's mainly that. It has a lot of electronic influence. I wouldn't say the song it's like metal because there's no screams, but you can, I mean, it can fall in a lot of genres, so I just want to say it's rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, it was really cool. We started working on the song together. We started composing it together, like the first scratch, and after that, he took over, and he did his thing.
He did his thing.
Yeah. And with the lyrics, well, I did the lyrics. I did most of it. And I really, 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 really love this song because it's very me. It's very personal. Like, if you listen to the lyrics, they're very, very, very personal. And I think a lot of people can relate to it because it talks about being in a dark place, wanting to get out, but being like, okay, give me a second, I will figure out my stuff and I'll be better, but hold on, like, don't rush. Because I think like the healing process is something you need to really, you don't need to oversee the healing process for whatever you're going through. I think it's really important to take your space, take your time, and the outcome will be better. So even like the chorus says, I'm fearing this night will be the worst of my life. And then after in the other parts of the song talks about like, hold on, like, get out, like, I'm being better. And when we started working on the song, I showed him the lyrics and like, is this too sad? Like, you want me to change this? And he was like, no, rock, it's all about being sad. Like, have you heard Korn? Like,
yeah,
it's all about being like that. And I was like, okay, so let's make the melody more like, more like, I don't know, fearless. And with the video, we already did the video. It's amazing. And I think it's really like that. Like, with the song, it starts like kind of like, And then when the song goes on, it's more fearless. I give more like that kind of vibe, and that's exactly what we wanted. And I think it's really, really, really cool, because I have always been so afraid to show that part of me that's kind of sad, because we all been through stuff. And I always thought, like, no, people don't want to hear about this. Like, they don't want to hear me being sad. Everyone wants to see someone happy. I don't want to, like, scare people away. And I just try to do it in a way that's not, like, too shocking. But yeah, I think the outcome is good.
I think that when you can relate to music, that's what gets people to listen to you. And like you said, everybody's been through stuff. Everybody's taken a moment to heal for whatever reason. So I'm glad that you were able to write this, that all your stars aligned, the fact that you're working with a producer who has worked with a lot of EDM and electronic. And that is the future for rock, in my opinion. We see the impact of Bring Me the Horizon, of Brad Omens, and they are selling out shows because they are forward thinking. So I hope that you can take all your genre, knowledge of genres to your music for this EP and whatever else you have cooking. Even on a level of someone that we've had on the show, Ali Stone. She's a Colombian artist, and her album was all mixed, mastered, produced by herself. She played all the instruments, and it has that electronic metal feeling. No screams either, but we call it metal. So
it's really nice. And yeah, I think also to give more like the message that I wanted to go to, I didn't see that song with screams, because I wasn't like hysteric about it. Because when you want to give more like that hysteria like feeling, it's better to do screams. But also my screams are not that good, so yeah, it's kind of funny. I remember I did one video that was, oh, hey guys, I will do a tutorial on how to do screams, and I was fucking awful. And everyone was like, you're doing it wrong, you're gonna get you're fucking up your voice. I was like, no, and I did it for a while, and it was it's very easy to injure yourself. Every time I've asked people on the show, like, oh, how do you do screams, how do you learn how to scream, everybody took a course at YouTube Academy and they learned. But it's like it's an odd thing, and you can really mess up your voice if you're doing it wrong. So take it easy. I'm good with singing. That's my thing.
You talk about posting videos. You are an advocate for mental health. And I think in Latin culture, there's still a lot of taboo around mental health, around being depressed, around having anxiety. And online, you even see that you get a lot of hate from people who are trying to weirdly gatekeep the metal scene.
Yeah.
How do you balance all this? How do you keep your mental health in check?
Well, I go to therapy. That's the first thing. Guys, go to therapy. You need to go to therapy. If you want to date someone, go to therapy. And yeah, I think that's one of the most important parts. And on the video stuff, I think I never got prepared for the amount of hate you can get online. I remember when I was with this guy we were talking about that song, I got a lot of hate because of him, but I was like, fuck it, like, it's not my thing, like, okay. But after that, when I started posting stuff, I got a lot of hate saying like, oh, you're a poser, and I'm like, who are you to tell me I'm a poser? You don't know me. You just saw a 15-second video of me, and you're calling me a poser just because I dress a certain way. You don't know my playlist. What is up with this? Like, being a metalhead, being like emo, whatever. It's mainly based on your playlist. Yeah. What type of stuff do you watch? Not how do you dress, and even I don't think I dress. Okay, I don't want to say. Maybe I do, but I don't want to say I dress like a poser. I don't know if there's a dressing code for that. I don't know how people say that, but yeah, I think it's just trolls online. And yeah, I don't think I ever got prepared for the amount of hate you can get for that, because even I got death threats, and that's kind of crazy. I got my first psycho, like someone who was like kind of following me,
Oh my God.
Yeah, I got my first one.
Your first stalker.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. Now I laugh about it because it's over. But it was like a year ago. I didn't even have a lot of followers. I still don't do, but back then I was like in 10K. And this guy, I remember, he would message me every day, and that was like the first thing. Like, okay, whatever. I blocked him. He made another account and blocked him. Another account. Okay, whatever. I was like, yeah, I will just not pay attention to him. And after that, he started posting stories, so I could see them. Because when someone posts a story with tagging you, you see like a little thing in your notifications,
mentions,
and you cannot not see it. And he posted like an edited video of me, like I think it may have been like a scene of a horror story, where someone was like terrorizing a girl, and the girl had my face, like with AI. And that was crazy. I went to the chat because I was freaked out, and he sent me my school schedule and where did I study.
I would cry. Oh my God.
I was crying. I was like, fuck this shit. Like, oh my, but what? That was crazy. And yeah, after that, I never saw him. But I'm telling you, like, I think I parked in different spaces of my school, but I was freaked out because I was like, how does he know this?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my first stalker.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that comes also from like the blurred lines of like the parasocial relationships that we can have with people on social media. You post a lot, you're very personal on social media.
Yeah.
And people might feel like they know you. And then if you don't answer, if you block that to a certain kind of person that's wired a certain way, it's going to make them angry.
Yeah.
But that's terrifying. I really hope it's completely over. You mentioned going to therapy. I mean, without getting like overly personal, but like what's something that your therapist has told you that has helped you, you know, work on yourself? What was that one piece of advice from him that made it just click for you? Because sometimes there's just specific words we need to hear.
Well, this is crazy because he told me this last week, and is that sometimes you need to be very selfish. Like, you don't need to be always pleasing everybody if it's not adding to your health. If you need to put yourself, sometimes you need to put yourself before everything, and hopefully you always do, in the most healthy way, not being selfish at every time. But if you feel like, you know what, I don't have the energy for this is not gonna add to my health, I'm sorry, dude, I can't. And I think that's really, really, really good advice, because when you get depressed, you kind of want to please everyone because you feel like you're like extra. You're like, oh yeah, I don't matter here. I'm an extra here. They don't need me here. But sometimes you need to be selfish and like, well, if I'm not adding here, maybe I need to go. I want to go home and I want to do something that's really pleasant for me. There's something that it's a very, very, very little thing, but I think it kind of adds to my everyday. And this is stupid, but it's cashews.
Cashews?
Yeah, cashews make me happy.
Okay.
And every day I eat cashews with rice, like this kind of cake rice. And I put marmalade. That's how the way you say it?
Jam, yeah.
All right. And that makes me happy. And I think it's really, I'm telling you, when I go to Aldi and buy my cashews, I'm happy. I'm like, okay, this happiness is costing me like $6. This is nothing. And I think it's amazing when you find something that really makes you happy, because I think if happiness doesn't find you, you need to go and look for it. And if cashews make me happy, fuck it. Like, yeah. And it's stupid. But I'm really happy when I eat my cashews. And yeah, I think it's really nice. I love also drinking my coffee in the mornings. That's part of what adds to my happiness. And it's stupid, but I think you really need to find it. If it doesn't find you, you need to look for it. Because even if I'm a very religious person, but if you pray for something, you also need to go and do something to find it.
Yes.
So yeah, cashews are my happiness.
You know, when you said cash, because I don't like nuts. Like I'm just like, if they're like baked into a dessert, then yes. But like just to sit down and actually eat nuts, I don't. But I understand what you're saying, because I'm the same way with like fancy little drinks. Like I have a little frother at home, and I like making my own matcha, or I like, you know, my friend has a butterfly pea tea. She gave me the leaves, so I made that. And those things make me so happy, like for no reason.
Yeah, and that's also like part of what you need to add to your everyday life, to also like seek for happiness. I also do a lot of smoothies, and that's stupid, but that makes me really happy. When I'm like feeling very down, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do smoothie. And I'm like, yeah, this gives me years of life.
Right.
Literally.
Yeah.
Because also you use a lot of fruit and everything, but it gives me years of life because I'm happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's really important to look for those moments.
Right.
Because when with life, especially like when you're working, you're doing a lot of stuff, you're doing, in my case, classes, you don't give time for yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't really think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I give time for myself. I scroll through Instagram like for like 2 hours. But that's not time for yourself.
No,
Even if you're doing content, works.
No, that's work. Content at this day and age is work, and it's not always food related. The happiness, it's anything. It's working out. It's taking that time to meditate if you like meditating.
Yeah.
In my personal experience, I love dance. I love dancing. I love aerial arts, and to me, that's my me time. I interact with the people around me. You know, we have the same, you see the same people usually, so you know who you're there with. You're trying out new tricks, and before you know it, the hour's up. But you feel mentally refreshed. It produces that serotonin.
Yeah, I think it's
it produces serotonin you needed, and it doesn't always have to be food related, because I food relate to a lot of things, and that's always not healthy either.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really, really important. And it's also sometimes getting with your friends, and if they are not available, just go by yourself and spend time with yourself. Sometimes we see being alone as something really bad, but if you don't know how to be alone,
that's worse.
Yep, that's worse. That's worse.
But I loved that advice. Be selfish. Find those little things of happiness that's not relying on somebody else, but more so things that you can do for you. I think that's great advice, that sometimes even though we know it, we need to hear it again to realize it. I have a game for you. So you're from Chile. It's something that fascinates me, and by the way, I've been living down in South Florida for so many years. You don't meet a lot of Chileans, but everybody has different dialects and ways to speak. So I'm Venezuelan. We have very different dialects, even in different cities. So I'm going to read some popular Chilean slang, and you have to explain what it means. This is a little lesson for everybody.
Okay.
So, cachai.
You know what I'm saying? It's like saying like, oye, cachai que el otro día. Like, ¿entiendes? You know what I'm saying? It's like that. Yeah.
Yeah?
It's like, actually, my grandma told me it comes from catching in English. Like, catch. Cachai?
Yeah.
Like, do you catch this? And it's crazy because I didn't know that.
No, but it makes sense. Yeah. Cachai. Yeah.
Cachai. Catch. Are you catching? Yeah.
It's kind of like how bistec is from beef steak for Cubans. Yeah. I learned that the other day too.
Yeah, my grandma is like, oh yeah, estoy haciendo un bistec. I'm like, I'm being so time away from Chile. What was this bistec? Like, and it's just beef steak.
Yeah, beef
steak.
Po.
Okay. And that's like a way of adding to every sentence. You say sipo, but still si. You could say to salmeter, like, yapo, apúrate, yapo, instead of a yeah. It's a kind of meaner, but it's just something that you add. It doesn't have like a meaning. It's just a way of saying like, I don't know. It's just kind of enhances the sentence.
Little spice. It gives me explanations. It says from the word pues, and it's used for emphasis when speaking. So yeah, you got it. Pololo or polola.
Okay, pololo. It's novio. novio, novia. But there's also a way, there's some people in Chile that call pololo to certain bugs.
Really?
Yeah. So it's funny because when I was little, I used to live in Huachuraba, and that's a place in Santiago. It was kind of like up, like in the uphill. And there was a lot of pololos there. And it was funny because for me, back then, pololo was boyfriend. And I remember my stepfather was, oh, cuidado que hay un pololo ahí. And I'm like, and I saw a bug, and I was like, oh, that's a pololo? Should I call that pololo? And, yeah, but yeah, that's some people that call it like that. I don't know what other name does it have.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the bug. Was it like a beetle?
No, it's like una polilla. I don't know how to say that.
No idea.
Polilla.
We probably have a whole different word for it in Venezuela.
Yeah, polilla. Those are nasty. But
Okay.
yeah, it's a nasty.
What I love in the description for this one is that it has the verb to pololeando.
Yeah, like we're dating, estamos pololeando. Every time I say that when I'm with like non-Chilean friends, they always laugh. I'm like, what's so funny? Like,
Right.
It's mi pololo. Estamos pololeando.
Pucha.
Okay, it's like, oh, pucha, qué lata, qué pena. Like, oh, how bad. And also I said lata. Lata is like, it's the same. It's like, how bad. Like, oh, how, like, downfall, like something like that.
There's some sayings here that like I feel like I know.
Like what?
Not that I feel I know, that I know. Like these are like, I think, used in all of Latin American, because borracho, gringo, like all those, we all use them. Harto, like.
Harto, it's mucho.
Yeah, same. Yeah, that's these are not specific, but anyways. Last one, and it's a phrase.
Okay.
And I've never heard this before, so I don't even know if it's a common phrase that's used there.
Okay.
But mojar el potito.
I think I have heard it, but like
It's a boomer saying, isn't it?
Huh?
It's a boomer saying, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be. It's not like I hear that very often. So what does it say?
It says to make a bold statement.
No, that's new to me. That's bold.
All right, original travel, you let us down on that one. I tried to go by the ones that I hear some of my coworkers say.
Yeah?
Like pucha, no.
Pucha la wea.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
That you can form a whole sentence with.
Yeah. It's like you could say wea in a whole sentence, like puta la wea weona weón.
Yeah.
¿Qué te pasa weón? ¿Cachai?
That it's still impressive to me.
Yeah, but it's like you can use wea or weon for like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like that's like global. You could add to it in every sentence.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful part.
You can add it to every sentence and then make a whole sentence out of it, which I'm still baffled by.
Yeah.
Karla, thank you so much for your lesson in Chilean slang, in all your history and your mental health help. This is your shameless plug moment. Let that camera know everything they need to know about Karla Sro.
Hola, Spanish, English.
Whatever you want to do.
Ok. Hola, soy Karla Sro. Muchas gracias por haberme tenido aquí y pueden encontrarme en todas partes como Karla SRO, Carlos con K, no con C.
You heard it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and do the quick translation. Go look her up as Karla Sro on all social media platforms, on Spotify. She has some amazing music coming up that I'm so excited for. And we'll see each other next week on the Senior Citizen Podcast.